Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I'm using a background stamp to create the look of fabric on a piece of designer series paper. I'll be using First Frost Bundle from the 2018 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog, as well as some pattern paper that is a limited release called Dashing Along. This piece kind of reminds me of wallpaper or just a very flat look, but I'm thinking of adding the burlap stamp to give it a look of depth and make it look a little bit like a piece of fabric. So I've loaded the background stamp onto my Stamparatus, and I'm stamping with cherry cobbler ink because the piece of pattern paper is cherry cobbler. This will give me a tone-on-tone look that's going to bring a lot of depth to an otherwise flat piece of paper. As the ink dries, it's more apparent. Now on the left, I tried this with Versamark, and on the right is the cherry cobbler. So it's definitely much more noticeable with the cherry cobbler. So to add this to a handmade card project, I'm going to do some stamping, and I'm first going to add the sentiment directly onto this panel. First Frost is a beautiful stamp and die combination, and it has some very nice sentiments in it as well. Because I'm going to have quite a bit more white in my project, I'm choosing to add the sentiment with white embossing powder. Here is a scrap of Whisper White thick cardstock, and I'm using the same cherry cobbler ink with the two flowers from First Frost. These stamps from First Frost have a very unique look. They're slightly pixelated to me. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but what they do is they give a very unique look. By adding ink, it just kind of disperses the ink out in a certain way. You got to give these things a try because they are fantastic and they stamp out beautifully. I added more color in the middle to give it a little bit of a depth look, and that's all done with cherry cobbler. So all the flowers are one solid color. I'm going to put this panel of Dashing Along paper on a white cardstock and then mount it onto a top folding white card base. The long branch die cut is going to be cut in half so that I can feature it going in more than one direction. And here are those beautiful little flowers. So you could see that the stamping was very simple and done with a sponge dauber and the Stamparatus. I've got 3 flowers, and I want to create a little bit of a, I guess you would say, a floral arrangement by adding some white die cuts in that little, it looks like baby's breath. That's what I called when I was doing flower arranging. We called it baby's breath. So it's a fun look, and I like that this little cluster comes up together so easily. I'm also adding a small circle, or you could call it a thread nest, of silver metallic thread. And I am adhering it to the back side of a Stampin' Dimensional with the final of the 3 different flowers. I'm using some adhesive backed pearls as well because they're going to help carry that look of white all the way through the project. And they just kind of look to me like they belong with this floral arrangement. The inside of the card has another one of those beautiful flowers echoed in colors from the front. And that's going to complete our project for today. All of the products that I've shown you today are available in my online store, and all of the links to those products are down in the video description here on YouTube. If you have any questions about this project, I'm happy to help you. Just leave me a comment here and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.